With a crazy number of sharpening stones out there, I'm constantly asked what stones and what grits do you actually need? What should you buy first, as well as what not to buy? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to get edges like this as simply and as cost efficient as possible so that you don't waste money. First off, I'll give you some stones to stay away from. These cheap aluminum oxide stones and silicon carbide stones. You'll see these pretty much everywhere that sells sharpening stones. The prices may be high, the prices may be low, but they're all pretty much exactly the same. They may look enticing and they do work. You can sharpen a knife with them. The problem is they are a super pain in the butt to use. They require soaking in water for a long period of time before each use. They're extremely messy and they dish out fast because they're very soft, which also means it's very easy to over-angle your knife into the stone, erasing all of your hard work in a single pass. They are old technology and there are just way better options out there. Now these stones do have something good about them, which is that they typically come in a dual grit combination, a coarse and a fine, which is exactly what you need. It is very difficult to sharpen without the dual, coarse, and fine grit. But most of these aluminum oxide stones come way too fine for beginner use in a 1000, 6000 combination. More on this in a second. So aluminum oxide soaking stones and silicon carbide oil stones are not what I'd recommend when first starting out, unless you like to be messy and frustrated. Now the first two grits and stones that I would buy are both a coarse and fine plated diamond stone. For the coarse grit, I'd recommend anything from 220 to 320 grit. This is going to be your profiling and apex stone. This is the first stone that you should start your sharpening process with if your knife is dull. This is where you'll raise your burr and make sure that the entire edge is apexed. Your knife should feel sharp off of this coarse grit stone. Do not move on to a finer stone if it doesn't feel sharp from this first coarse grit stone. You're just going to be wasting time. Now for the fine, I'd recommend anywhere from an 800 to 1200 plated diamond stone. Most plated stones in this range will be of similar grit size. It just depends on how the manufacturer labels the grit. And this grit size is about the limit of what is capable with plated diamond stones. Now, I've tested a lot of diamond stones, and the only ones that I found without some sort of grit contamination on the finer grits are the Sharpening stones and the Atoma stones. A quick note, this only applies to freehand stones. It doesn't apply to most of the fixed angle system stones that I've tested. Now, I do have a relationship with Sharpening at this point in time, but that relationship didn't start till after this was already known to be the case. And you can look through my catalog of videos and see that that actually was the case. Now, grit contamination is when a fine stone is contaminated with a much coarser grit, making the fine stone behave more like a coarser stone. Now, this is a problem because if you paid for a fine stone, that's what you would expect to get, not a fine stone with a whole bunch of super coarse grit particles sprinkled throughout. So here's a quick example of this on these super cheap $10 plastic diamond stones. We have some very large particles mixed in with the fine particles on the fine stone. Now I do have a video explaining this in more detail, which I'll link below. Now to sum up, the first stone that you should buy is a 220 to 320 grit stone and an 800 to 1200 grit diamond stone. Don't get too caught up in the absolute minute details of the grit sizes here. Somewhere in that range on either end of the spectrum is exactly what you want. Now the reason I recommend diamond for these base stones is that diamond will cut any steel. These plated stones will last a long time if the plating is done correctly. They don't dish out, no water is needed on any plated stone. They're fast to use, not messy, and they give pretty good user feedback. There's really no other stone out there that gives you this combination of features at this price point. The very next thing that you should purchase after your coarse and fine grit diamond is going to be a diamond strop. Don't move on to finer grit stones until you get a good set of diamond strops. Now, I'll link the strop video that I have down below to help you decide on what strop to get and or make. Now, my recommendation for a first grit is anywhere between 3 and 6 micron. This is a 6 micron strop right here, somewhere in that range. With that grit, you'll be able to strop directly off of either your coarse grit diamond or your fine grit diamond stone and get very sharp edges off of either grit. This 3 to 6 micron grit range will help you remove any remaining burrs and slightly refine the apex. Now I use my 6 micron diamond strops more than any other strop, and I have everything. And the 6 is my kind of go-to do everything strop. Now the reason that I do recommend diamond over the green chromium oxide or the waxy bar type abrasives is primarily due to the fact that it will cut any steel better. Diamond doesn't really care what the steel type is. I will link to a video down below that will help explain this in a little bit more detail. Now, the next stone that you should buy in your stone sharpening kit progression is another strop. The second strop should be a 1 micron strop, or somewhere in that range. I would try to stick with 1 micron. For a lot of steels, you'll be able to get hair whittling results with a coarse and fine diamond stone and a 6 and 1 micron strop. The 1 micron will definitely help refine the apex slightly more and give you those hair splitting edges that most of us are after. Now, a caveat here is 1 micron will work to get hair whittling on some steels like this K390 as an example. For other steels, more specifically some stainless steel variants, you may need finer than 1 micron for absolute hair whittling. 1/4 micron or 1/10 micron after the 1 micron strop. But trust me, any knife will still get plenty sharp with just 1 micron. So I love giving some scale here. This is 6 micron diamond on a ballpoint pen, and a single grain of sugar at the same magnification. So to see this in real life physical form, here's the Sharpball stone plus 6 micron and 1 micron strop. Or we replace the Sharpball stone with a cheap $20 stone, an Atoma plate, and a 6 and 1 micron strop. For most people, this is all you'll ever need. So what in the world are all of these other finer grit stones for? Now, these finer grits do one thing. They refine the bevel scratch pattern to allow smoother cutting on certain materials. Now, 2 examples of this are going to be woodworking edges and shaving edges. These are just 2 examples. Now, if the surface finish that we are leaving behind after we cut something matters, then finer grit bevels will leave a smoother finish than coarser ones. Now, keep in mind that knife edges are just tiny wedges, wedging things apart. And you can visualize this if we had a wedge made out of a piece of sandpaper. The finer grit wedge would leave a better surface finish than a coarser grit wedge. And shaving your face with a coarse grit piece of sandpaper doesn't sound that fun. That's why all of these finer grits exist. Now, for most steels, not all, but for most, my recommendation is to use ceramic splash and go stones for these finer grits. Now, these are relatively cheap compared to the alternatives, which I'll get to in a second. But one of my favorites is the Shapton 2000 grit Korematsu stone, followed by the Shapton 5000 grit Korematsu stone. These ceramic stones are what's called splash and go, and that means that they do not require soaking. You'll actually damage the stone if you soak it in water. All you really need is just a splash of water on the surface and you're ready to go. They aren't super messy, they cut fast, and they'll cut most steels just fine at these finer grits. And you can take the surface finish as far as you like, with these grits extending up beyond 5000 grit. Now, the downside of these stones is that they do suffer with higher hardness, large or high carbide content containing steels. Now, they will work for those steels, but yeah, you'll need some time. If you're sharpening any of the modern so-called super steels, you're probably going to want to stick to diamond. So here's some CPMM4 sharpened on a Shapton 5000 grit stone, and you can see all of these tiny carbides poking through. These things are very hard to grind, and it makes getting super sharp apexes off of ceramic very difficult, as opposed to diamond, which actually cuts these carbides much more effectively, leaving a finer finish on the bevel and the apex. Now, the problem here is that for the finer grits than our fine 1000 grit plated stone here, for those steels, you'll have to move on to something called bonded diamond stones, which most of them are going to look like this, these 1x6 inch stones. And currently, there's not a whole lot of great affordable options out there. Now, you can buy these 1x6 inch bonded stones anywhere from $70 to $100 per stone. You'll have to deal with the smaller 1x6 inch size. Now, that price range is about as cheap as you can possibly get for quality bonded diamond stones. Now, there are bonded stones out there that are cheaper than that price range in the 1x6 inch size. I've tested those. Most of them are not very good, so I would probably stay away from those. So to clarify, the cheaper bonded diamond stones do work, but they have longevity issues with the abrasives wearing fast, coupled with the small amount of abrasive that you get means that they just aren't a very good value compared to some of the higher priced options. Larger sizes of bonded stones do exist, but you're looking closer to at least probably $200 on up per stone. So it can get very expensive very quickly. You know, a set of 4 of those stones is going to be close to $1,000. Now this is why most will stick to the 1,000 grit plated diamond stone range for most of these super steels. Now, if you are somebody who already has a fine plated diamond stone and looking to make the jump into the bonded stone range, I would typically go from the 1,000 up to about a 3,000 grit bonded stone. You really don't need any in between grits between that 1,000 and say 3,000 grit range. Now, the grit ratings on bonded stones are all over the place. And by all over the place, I mean you need a reference chart and a map in order to sort of decipher the different grit sizes and ranges in most of the bonded stone lines. So if you're going to go that route, be very careful with what grits you actually buy and do your research in terms of how they stack up to your plated diamond stone, for instance. It can get very convoluted very quickly and it's annoying, but I don't really have any control over it. Buy a coarse and fine diamond stone first, then buy strops. Then decide if you need to worry about the surface finishes after you make your cut. If you do, and you figure out what steel type you have, then you can buy the appropriate stones, either in a ceramic splash and go series or a bonded diamond series. I hope this doesn't sound too complicated. It's just knife sharpening. It really isn't that complicated. Coarse grit, fine grit, strops, and you can get some really, really nice edges with just some basic things.